Good morning and welcome to our quarterly meeting for the third quarter of 2012 for all the chapter and special interest group leaders based in the Americas. Also warm welcome to those who couldn't make it yesterday and are attending today. Thank you very much for joining. Are there still people coming in, Stephanie?
You can go ahead and get started, Martijn.
Yes, okay, great.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are still logging on. Okay, thank you very much. Again, a warm welcome. The pictures, I've put up some pictures on the first slide just to introduce them. From a Vivit perspective, we have available Julianne. She's very committed in getting our website more and more styled and also integrated with all kinds of social media activity. We've got Stephanie on the call. We've got also Laura Walker here, who's responsible for the education, and myself, Martin Stuiver. A warm welcome to you all. What I would like to do during this quarterly meeting is I want to focus on a general updates. What is Vivit doing right now? Did we grow? Did we didn't grow? What are our main activities and our main focus for the coming month? And what I also would like to share with you, sharing the website, some new styled possibilities like the Speakers Bureau, and of course also the leader resources, which I want to show with you. And especially that part, I would like to make it a little bit more interactive, or I will try to ask you some questions there if you have some good ideas about new resources and about the Speaker Bureau. Just raise your hand during this meeting if you have any question. I think we will have enough time to address them as it looked like yesterday. Where are we from a Vivit perspective? Well, we're still growing, and I think that's a good thing. We're still growing from a quantity perspective as well as a quality perspective, meaning we have now 13,000 users worldwide, of which 5,500 are active practitioners, meaning that they attend meetings and are regularly active on our on the website. At this moment, 69 chapters divided about 22 countries, and especially Asia Pacific is growing fast from a membership perspective. We've got now 13 special interest groups and 118 leaders worldwide. So again, also I'm not sure, they will probably not be all on the call, but I would like to take this opportunity also to thank you for your commitment and the time you share with the practitioners and with the users in getting knowledge transferred. It's really great to see that we're still growing. The last part, which is, of course is also important to notice, is the annual membership, which means no fees are due anymore. And I will come back and combine that point with an agenda point later during this meeting. How about active chapters and active special interest group? It's sometimes difficult to track that down, but I think it's good to remember you again of the fact that an active chapter or special interest group means that you should have at least 2 events per year. It could be local events, it could be virtual events, it could be road shows, and of course we are more than willing to help you and support you with arranging these kind of events. So I was talking about grow. It's always nice to just mention a figure, but it's more important to see what the trends are. I think we're still growing, especially in the local chapter area, but also in the special interest group area. I think that's very good to know, but at the same time, we want to maintain, of course, also the quality of having at least 2 meetings per year, but also from a quality perspective, trying to accomplish that we really get the objective around by getting the knowledge transferred, sharing experiences, and building careers. Based on the quality perspective as well as the quantity perspective, I think it's good for you as a leader to know what we're focusing on. That is, of course, hosting all kinds of and supporting all kinds of local events as well as virtual events, and especially virtual events are growing. I think that's good to see, and also very good to notice from a chapter perspective. More and more chapters are also opening up their presentations and their roundtables for our international community. So please visit our website, please look at our editorial calendar and about new announcements for events, but because local events does not always mean that there will not opening up their sessions for virtual attendance. Having said that, we are growing, still want to maintain quality, and also are supporting more and more virtual events. That means that as a consequence of that, the Vivit staff and the Vivit organization is also growing, meaning that we introduced and hired some new staff working on different areas. Different interns, I believe 3 in total, are working for us in the US. We will also be or are also looking for interns or freelance staff to support us in the EMEAs, which is the second largest community after the US. And of course, at the same time, maintaining and trying to drive this scalability, we're also working on some new procedures for trying to get in touch with possible new leaders, but also trying to figure out how we could assist current leaders in a better way by means of, for example, a nice and clear procedure on what you should do if you, for example, want to organize virtual events. So that's what we are also working on at this moment. Another thing we will be working on, and I will thank also the leaders who joined this call and who did some video referencing with us in Vegas, is that we will be working on a leader brochure, meaning that we're still looking for co-leaders from a chapter perspective as well as a special interest group perspective, and we will be also launching this brochure very soon, using the quotes from some of you which you gave at the video blogs at our last HP Discover event in Vegas. What we're also working on is the quality, and also trying to find out how we could support you as a leader in having additional resources for you available. Later on during this meeting, I will show you where you can find those resources, but we're also still open and open-minded for any ideas you have about sharing your resources, your experiences in setting up virtual events as well as local events. Of course, the second part, also earlier mentioned and released, is the Speakers Bureau. Later on, I will also show you how you could use this Speakers Bureau in search of speakers, for example, for your local or virtual events. What another trend which is very important is that we're cooperating with partners of HP or HP itself more and more during all kinds of roadshows. That has, as well as a PR character, sometimes also commercial character. So some of those corporations are based on additional fees for our Vivit organization. As we nowadays have opened up or have moved to a free membership model, we're still need to cover expenses and also cover growth by means of cooperating with partners. So what you will see also on our editorial calendar is that there are some more Vivit-driven events and presentations, as well as more commercial partner-driven events. And this will pretty fill up our editorial calendar. So note that if you need Vivit staff support for your events, we should schedule that with you upfront. Another part which also was introduced on a website and was very interesting to initialize is IT game changes. Traditionally, we're very software orientated towards our practitioners, but we also started, based on a survey, the investigation if we should move up to different topics, different areas. Especially the discussions about new IT developments and how they affect your day-to-day software life is very important for our practitioners, we find out. Based on those IT game changers developments, we first of course did the survey, of which there is good material available on a website, which you could also use for your local or virtual events to start a discussion going on new IT developments like big data or bring your own device. The second part, what we did is we are setting up special interest groups about those IT game changers, and there's still some room for co-leaders there. So please investigate, please help us staff those kind of special interest group, because our community really depends on volunteers who are quite willing and knowledgeable on new IT developments and how you could combine them with all kinds of software discussions within every organization. The last part of the IT game changes subject is that there are some roadshows and corporations going with HP, especially in Canada. You can look for them at the editorial calendar, and those are organized together with HP Marketing as well as the HP Fellows, which is quite interesting. Some of them will be virtual, and again those materials could be very interesting also for your own discussions, which is not only taken to a different level, also not talking about the ins and outs and the performance tuning of your software, but also trying to connect to new developments which will influence our day-to-day life from now to the coming 2 years probably. Another part what we will be concentrating on is of course the HP Discover EMEA event in Stuttgart. For those who will fly over on the Monday, the first week of December, we will still have our leader meeting. We will also have our award dinner, and we will also try to organize some advanced training. For this, we're still in search for trainers and sponsors, and I will try to address it later. But for those who are capable of flying over, please mark your calendars for December 1st. I will talk a little bit more about the HP Discover in our next general update, which I would like to schedule for early November. The last general update I want to touch is the web presence. We are doing, I think, an awesome job in restyling our website, in trying to integrate them in all kinds of social media initiatives. And I would like to talk you through those items by means of the following slide. What we did on the website, which I will show you in a few moments, is that we organized a Vivit Speaker Bureau, in which is very easy for you to search for speakers, as well as that, of course, it's important to for you as a leader. If you are very knowledgeable and experienced as a speaker, that you also try to change your bio in being acknowledged as a possible speaker. We've got some additional Vivit leader resources available, and I will also show you that later on. And what we're also working on is social media initiatives, as using Twitter, integrations with Facebook, restyling LinkedIn, and also trying to use some backlinking in our communication, so that we attract more visibility from our website, or that we even can reuse content as we have or are publishing on a regular basis on our Vivit blogs. For you as a leader, it's also interesting to use those social media initiatives, especially towards your membership, I think. You could Twitter, you could Facebook about it, you can say something about it on LinkedIn, and just use a link to our website, and it will hopefully address some additional attendees there. Just let me take 5 seconds to ask if there are any questions so far.
There's no questions right now, so there's a questions pane you can type your questions into, and you can also raise your hand and I can unmute you. So there's none at this time, our time.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Then I would like to go dive into our website and show you some changes we made, and also show you where you can find resources and how you could use the Speakers Bureau. Just let me see. Do we have a visual, Stephanie? Do we see the website? Could you please confirm?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, it looks great, and it's not
Okay.
flashing. Looks perfect.
Thank you very much for that addition. Right. What we did is under the different pull down menus, you will find some new categories. Under About Vivit, a little bit more about our latest awards, especially also orientated on the EMEAs. Under the Chapter and 6 part, you will find 2 new things you could use, is being a leader and being a speaker, which is quite interesting to visit, I would say. The same you could find on the careers and training about being a speaker and how to become a speaker. Also, to give an example about our integrations, it will be nice, or if you say, okay, I really like this spotlight on a volunteer and I would like to Twitter about this, just use it this way, and you will be able to Twitter about this latest Vivit news. It could also be based on, for example, an event. There are different ways how you could use this to promote your event, as well as the latest blogs. So those are some generic changes I wanted to show you. Then something which I really would like to have some input from you on, which is the leader resources. Where can you find the leader resources on our website? First of all, you have to be signed in, and then you will be known by the system as being a chapter leader or a special interest group leader. Then you go under My Profile to the part Groups, and always on the top of your list there will be the general chapter and SIG leader pointer, and you can click on that, and then you will arrive on the general chapter and leader site. not everyone will probably have that many chapters, so don't worry about it. Probably you only have those chapters here listed in which you're really interested in, and I think that's a good thing, but based on my position, I have them all on my list, just to clarify. So then you go to the chapters and SIG leaders part, and there you see this is the most important entrance for all the chapters and SIG leaders. From this point you can see sometimes some photographs of the latest events, some leaders you could contact if you would like to have some second opinion or some advice about organizing events. And from this page you could also search for a different kind of speakers. But let me first try to point you to the resources. If you click on group pages, you will find all the different kind of resources for you available. That might be Vivit leadership training materials and videos. It might be Vivit marketing material you can use for your events. It might be archive material, which is interesting to share. For example, what I earlier did with my my chapter in the Netherlands is that I shared a presentation about performance tuning, which was earlier, let's say a month ago, arranged and given. I could reuse this information to relate it to my different members and keep them interested also in the group, and also provide them some answers, because they were really asking some questions about performance tuning. So what you also could find over here, which is also quite interesting to see, is when you go to Chapter 6 Leader Meeting webinar materials, here you can find some general checklists, for example about local events, about webinars, about email blasts, about new member sign-up sheets, all kinds of material which might be interesting if you start as a leader, but for those chapters and special interest groups in which you have or organize not too many events, like the minimal of 2 events, it's great that you have still a central location here, that you can always find the latest material or the latest styled PowerPoint slides for you available over here. So what we have here is a slide deck which you could reuse, and some checklists here, email blasts, Vivit sign-in sheets for your events, email templates, and Vivit Chapter 6 meeting survey examples. My $1 million question on this item will be, are there additional materials you are looking for? Are there some additional resources which we did not think of, but which might be very interesting for you to have that available on this website? Please raise your hand.
Martijn, there's no hands raised and there's no questions. Maybe give everybody a few more. No.
Okay, doesn't matter to it. Could if you have some ideas after this meeting, please email us. What I will do now is I will just to be sure, as it was also asked yesterday, I will just go over it one more time, which is quite interesting. So how you get to the chapter and SIG leader meeting resources part of a website, you go to the groups part. Again, always on the top, the chapter and SIG leaders part, and then you will come to the general website. If you want to find some additional resources which might help you, organizing your events or some marketing material, please click on the Group Pages button on the top left hand, and it will provide you a drop-down list, and there you can select the different kind of materials available for you, which you can reuse for your own events. The second part, which I also want to show you, is the Vivit Speakers Bureau. We're already here again on the chapter and SIG part of the website, and here when you press on click here to search the database and find a speaker, you can just go there, and what you can do is you can, for example, try to find speakers which are willing and experienced to speak on different kind of subjects here. You can also know and search if they are willing to conduct a webinar, some location information which might be interesting, and some country information also available for you to make it special, for example, for local events, interesting to share and to search on. So for example, if I want to search for someone with business availability knowledge on, for example, Universe CMDB, I point and select this one. I click on continue, and then you will find some people who might be interesting to speak at your virtual or chapter event. And of course, what you might do here, which might help you, first of all, connect to those people, and second of all, try to send them a message or try to connect directly with them about their experiences, or of course sometimes the University MDB part can be quite big topic to speak about, so trying to exchange some knowledge about it and trying to really connect with them, and then try to find out if there's a real fit in using those people for speaking at your events. So again, when we start from the beginning, how you can search as a chapter leader or special interest group leader for speakers, you can go to the groups part, again to chapters and leaders, and here it says to click to find speakers. Any questions so far?
Martine, we do have one question. It says, it would be interesting, hold on, we have a couple questions.
Okay, great.
Let's see. It would be interesting to see a summary of topics that various chapters are covering in current meetings. What's everybody talking about lately? And that's from Brad. Brad Clark.
Okay. It's an interesting, perhaps as a kind of a search capability.
Well, what I would recommend, if I can,
yes,
is to go to the Vivit community calendar under News and Events, and click on that, Martine, at the top. Okay, that's good too. There you go. And do you see where it says past events? You could look at upcoming, which is already there, but then you could click on past. And it will give you all the past events too, so you can peruse not only what's up and coming, but you can look back and see what is what people have been doing. So that's one thing that could help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But I also understand the question, so we would just take it with us. I think it's a good suggestion because, of course, you here can see related topics which might be interesting to know, right? You have to open up every event to know what the different topics are. And there's a question for us, I think, if we want to relate that only to speakers or if we also want to relate that to events.
And we could just do a summary, and I see what Brad's saying. I could put those in the leader updates. Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I'll make that a point for
Okay.
the next leader updates. Okay, I'll take that.
Right. Interesting point, Brad. Thank you. You were mentioning other questions, Stephanie?
That's the only one. Let me double check to see if there's any hands that are raised. No hands, no more questions. Okay, that's it for now.
Okay. Okay. Another thing which is very important for you as a chapter leader, because I think most of our leaders are also very experienced speakers, not only by hosting sessions but also giving some additional feedback about new developments on different HP software items. What you can do, and what we also would like to urge you to do, is change your profile. So if you are signed in, you go to the Manage Profile part, and then you go to Edit Bio, which is the most important part of your profile anyhow, because they're most important aspects of your profile are there, including, for example, password change. If you scroll down to the section about additional information, you will find here new information you can use to be acknowledged as a speaker. So here you can try to address what topics you would like to speak on, what you are experienced to speak on, if you are bounded by any location or not. So please fill in and change this bio status if you're willing to speak at virtual as well as at chapter events, because that will drive our speakers bureau, which is very important. And if you or if you have met speakers of which you think they are terrific, please also let us know. Send us an email, and we will try to contact them, or we will try to urge them to change their bio if they're willing to do that. So again, go to Manage Your Profile, to the part where it says Edit Bio, and there scroll down and change your bio, please, if you're willing to speak and if you are willing to be acknowledged as a speaker. And we can then, all the leaders can then search your name regarding topics, location, and the different kind of things you would like to speak of. Any questions about this part of the Vivit Speakers Bureau?
I don't see any hands raised, and I don't see any questions.
Okay. Great, great. Thank you. Then I will try to use the PowerPoint again. And if you have suggestions about our website, remarks, or whatsoever, or some ideas, please let us know. We have now more experienced and more committed people like Julian also working on our website. So if we could improve it, help you organize or market events, please let us know. Well, the last part in which I would like your attention for, that is the call for co-leaders, especially for the special interest groups on the IT game changes topics. We're still looking for some people who would like to attend or who would like to co-lead on different special interest groups like big data, business intelligence, or some other groups. It's always good to have 3 or 4 co-leaders available, so that it's easy to organize events and to also share the burden of organizing some virtual and local events. So if you know some very good and sound people within your community, please let us know, and stay tuned also for our newsletter, where it says where we still are looking for co-leaders for which locations and special interest groups. About the Speakers Bureau, I just showed you how you could change your bio, but also how to search for speakers. It is also related now to a new nomination, which a new award which we created, which is Speaker of the Year. So by changing your bio and having terrific references about your speaking capabilities of your last events, you are could even be entitled to win a new award related to the Speakers Bureau. And of course, it's all related to and to push the idea about sharing speakers for virtual and local events. I would also like to urge you, especially for the nominations in the EMEA, if you're related to, for example, special interest group, start filling in the nominations where possible on Leader of the Year, Champion of the Year, and Speaker of the Year, please. The last point which we would like your attention for is the advanced training sessions at Stuttgart, Germany. In the first week of December, we will try to organize advanced training sessions, and we would like to have them free and offer them free. But to cover the costs of those sessions, we're still in need of people who want to sponsor those training sessions, as well as people who want to conduct the training and sponsor it at the same time. But there's still some rooms left there. If you need to have more information, it's on our website, but you could also contact my colleague Laura Walker, who's trying to staff those events, and most of the time those training are really really valuable for the different kind of attendees. So if you know organizations, or if you are part of an organization who's willing to sponsor our training sessions, please contact us, Stephanie or Laura or Susan. Well, the last item which I would like to address with you is if you could already mark in your calendar that our next leader meeting will be November the 7th. And if you have some specific topics you would like to address, or some ideas about important topics, or if you have any trouble with organizing events, please let us know. Maybe there are some subjects we can share during these kind of events, or we could help you directly connecting to other leaders or other valuable resources. Thank you very much for your attention. Are there any questions, remarks, comments?
I don't see any hands raised or questions coming in, Martijn.
Okay. Thank you very much for attending today. And again, we really appreciate the time and the commitment for which you do spend with the different members of your chapters and special interest group. Yeah, we really thank you for that. And if we can anyhow help you, please let us know, because your events are important to us. Thank you very much for joining, and this presentation will also be available as a recording later on. Right, Stephanie?
Yes, you got it.
Okay. Thank you very much again for attending, and enjoy your day.